The card table, wobbling slightly on the uneven sidewalk, was Kiara's command center. Atop it, a brightly colored poster, hand-lettered in cheerful, slightly uneven script, proclaimed, "Kiara's lemonade stand, 50 cents a cup. Help me go to the zoo." Beside the poster, a large plastic pitcher filled with ice-cold lemonade glistened in the afternoon sun. 11-year-old Kiara Robinson, perched on a folding chair behind her makeshift counter, beamed with entrepreneurial pride. This wasn't just about selling lemonade. It was about a dream. Her fifth-grade class was planning a field trip to the city zoo, a place Kiara had only ever seen in pictures and nature documentaries. She longed to see the majestic lions, the playful monkeys, the colorful birds, to experience the wonders of the animal kingdom firsthand. But the trip cost $50, money her family, struggling to make ends meet, simply didn't have. So, Kiara had taken matters into her own hands. She'd convinced her mom to buy lemons and sugar, she'd borrowed the pitcher and cups from her grandma, and she'd set up shop on the sidewalk in front of her house, determined to earn the money herself. It was a long shot, she knew. $50 was a lot of lemonade. But Kiara was nothing if not determined. The first few hours were slow. Her neighbors, mostly elderly folks on fixed incomes, were her most loyal customers. Mrs. Henderson, from across the street, bought 2 cups, praising Kiara's entrepreneurial spirit. Mr. Johnson, who walked with a cane and a perpetual smile, bought 1 cup and gave her an extra $1 for good luck. A few passing cars slowed down, their drivers rolling down their windows to purchase a refreshing drink and offer words of encouragement. Kiara's spirits remained high, despite the slow trickle of customers. She meticulously counted her earnings, carefully stacking the quarters and dollar bills in a small metal box she decorated with stickers of her favorite zoo animals. Every coin, every bill, represented a step closer to her goal, a step closer to the lions and tigers and bears. She imagined herself at the zoo, gazing in awe at the giraffes, their long necks reaching towards the sky. She pictured herself feeding the elephants, laughing with her classmates, learning about the incredible diversity of life on Earth. The images fueled her determination, keeping her smile bright and her sales pitch enthusiastic. Ice-cold lemonade. 50 cents a cup. Help me go to the zoo, she called out to passers-by, her voice filled with hope and a touch of youthful desperation. The sun beat down, the afternoon wore on, and the pitcher of lemonade slowly emptied. But Kiara's dream remained full, a vibrant and unwavering beacon guiding her through the long, hot day. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to make it happen, 1 cup of lemonade at a time. The sweet smell of lemons, mixed with the scent of freshly cut grass and the warm summer air, was the smell of hope, of ambition, of a young girl's unwavering determination to reach for her dreams. The afternoon sun was beginning to dip below the rooftops, casting long shadows across Kiara's lemonade stand. The initial rush of neighbors and well-wishers had slowed to a trickle, and Kiara was starting to feel the fatigue of a long day spent. Standing in the heat, she had counted her earnings again, 1850s, a respectable sum, but still a long way from her $50 goal. Just as she was starting to lose hope, a low rumble filled the air, growing louder with each passing second. It was the unmistakable sound of motorcycles, multiple motorcycles, approaching fast. Kiara looked up, her eyes widening with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. A group of bikers, maybe 10 or 12 of them, roared into view, their chrome gleaming in the fading sunlight. They were a formidable sight, dressed in black leather, jackets and vests adorned with patches and emblems she didn't recognize, their faces obscured by dark helmets and mirrored sunglasses. They rode large, powerful bikes, the engines throbbing with a raw, untamed energy. The bikers pulled up to the curb, directly in front of Kiara's lemonade stand, their engines sputtering to a stop. The sudden silence was almost as unnerving as The roar that had preceded it, a wave of fear, washed over Kiara. She'd seen movies, watched TV shows about biker gangs, about violence and lawlessness. These men, these strangers, looked like they had stepped straight out of one of those stories. Her heart pounded in her chest. She instinctively took a step back, her hand reaching for the metal box containing her earnings. The other people on the street, mostly elderly residents tending to their gardens or sitting on their porches, reacted with a similar apprehension. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Eyes narrowed in suspicion. Doors were quietly closed and locked. The peaceful suburban street had suddenly transformed into a scene of tension and unease. Even the bravest felt it. The lead biker, a large man with a grizzled beard and a tattoo of a snarling wolf on his forearm, dismounted his bike. He removed his helmet, revealing a face that was weathered and lined, but surprisingly kind. He looked at Kiara, her small lemonade stand, her brightly colored poster, and a slow smile spread across his face. But Kiara didn't see the smile. All she saw was the leather, the tattoos, the imposing size of the men. She saw danger, she saw trouble, and she was terrified. She braced herself, preparing for the worst, her mind racing with images of what might happen next. The dream of the zoo, the excitement of the day, had evaporated, replaced by a cold, hard knot of fear. The quiet street, once a haven of suburban tranquility, had become a scene of uncertainty, a stage for a drama she didn't understand and desperately wanted to avoid. The lead biker, the one with the wolf tattoo, approached Kiara's lemonade stand. Kiara braced herself, her small hand gripping the metal box containing her earnings, ready to defend her hard-won progress. "Well now," the biker said, his voice a low rumble that surprisingly didn't match his intimidating appearance. "What have we here? A lemonade stand, huh?" Kiara managed a shaky nod, her eyes wide with apprehension. "How much?" he asked. 50 cents, Kiara stammered, her voice barely a whisper. The biker chuckled, a deep, rumbling sound that, to Kiara's surprise, sounded more friendly than menacing. 50 cents, huh? Well, I reckon we're all pretty thirsty after that ride. What do you say, boys? Lemonade break?" A chorus of agreement erupted from the other bikers. They dismounted their bikes, removing their helmets and revealing a surprisingly diverse group of faces, men and women, young and old, some with tattoos and piercings, others looking like they'd just stepped out of an office. They lined up in front of Kiara's stand, their faces beaming with genuine smiles. One by one, they ordered lemonade, paying with crumpled dollar bills and offering generous tips. They complimented Kiara on her delicious lemonade, her entrepreneurial spirit, and her adorable poster. "This is the best lemonade I've had in years, kid," one biker said, his voice booming with enthusiasm. "You're a natural. You got a real business going here," another added, winking at her. "Keep it up." Kiara, initially terrified, slowly began to relax. The fear that had gripped her just moments before began to dissipate, replaced by a growing sense of bewilderment and, surprisingly, gratitude. These weren't the menacing figures she'd imagined. They were just people. People who were thirsty, people who appreciated a good glass of lemonade, and people who, for some reason, seemed genuinely interested in helping her reach her goal. Then, a woman stepped forward. She was tall and slender, with long flowing red hair and a leather jacket adorned with patches that read, "Iron Maidens." She introduced herself as Sherry. "Hey there, little entrepreneur," Sherry said, her voice warm and friendly. "We heard you're trying to raise money for a trip to the zoo. We'd like to help." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a wad of cash, far more than Kiara had ever seen in one place. "This is from all of us," Sherry said, handing the money to Kiara. "We took up a collection. It should be enough to get you to the zoo and maybe even buy yourself a souvenir or two." Kiara stared at the money, her eyes wide with disbelief. She counted it quickly, her fingers trembling. It was over $200, far more than she had ever dreamed of making. I don't know what to say, Kiara stammered, tears welling up in her eyes. Thank you all so much. The bikers roared with laughter and applause, their earlier intimidating presence now replaced by a genuine warmth and camaraderie. They had arrived as strangers, as figures of fear and uncertainty, but they had transformed into unexpected benefactors, a symbol of kindness and generosity in the most unlikely of packages. The fear that had gripped the street just moments before had vanished, replaced by a sense of wonder and gratitude. And Kiara, the little girl with a big dream, had not only reached her goal, but she had also learned a valuable lesson about judging people by appearances and the surprising places where kindness can be found. As the other bikers finished their lemonade and prepared to leave, one man lingered behind. He was older than the rest, his face deeply lined, his eyes holding a hint of sadness that the cheerful atmosphere couldn't quite mask. He introduced himself as Doug. "That's some mighty fine lemonade you got there, young lady," Doug said, his voice soft and gentle, a stark contrast to the rumble of the departing motorcycles. "Thank you," Kiara replied, smiling shyly. She was still overwhelmed by the biker's generosity, still trying to process the sudden turn of events. Doug looked at her lemonade stand, at the brightly colored poster, at the small metal box overflowing with cash. He smiled, a wistful, almost melancholic smile. "You know," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, "you remind me of someone. My daughter, Sarah, she always wanted to open a bakery, had all these plans, these recipes, these dreams." His voice trailed off, his gaze drifting towards the distance, as if he were looking back at a past that was both precious and painful. Kiara, sensing his sadness, instinctively reached out and placed her small hand on his weathered, leather-clad arm. "What happened to her?" she asked softly. Doug sighed, a deep, heavy sigh that seemed to carry the weight of years of grief. She got sick," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "Real sick. We lost her a few years back." He looked at Kiara, his eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and a flicker of something else. Hope, perhaps. "She would have loved this," he said, gesturing towards the lemonade stand. "She would have loved you. You have her spirit, her drive, her light." Kiara didn't know what to say. She couldn't comprehend the depth of his loss, the pain he must have carried for so long. But she understood, in a way that only a child can, the power of dreams, the importance of holding on to hope, even in the face of unimaginable sorrow. "I'm sorry about your daughter," Kiara said, her voice small but sincere. "But I'm glad I could remind you of her." Doug smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes and softened the lines on his face. "Thank you, Kiara," he said. "You have more than you know." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a worn leather wallet. He extracted a single, crisp $100 bill and placed it in Kiara's metal box. "This is for Sarah," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "And for you. Keep chasing your dreams, kid. Don't ever let anyone tell you they're too big or too small. Just keep chasing them." He gave her a final, gentle pat on the shoulder, then turned and walked back to his motorcycle, his steps slow and deliberate. As he rode away, disappearing into the fading sunlight, Kiara felt a profound sense of connection to this man, this stranger, who had shared with her a glimpse of his deepest sorrow and his enduring hope. She knew she would never forget him or his daughter or the lesson she had learned that day, that kindness can bloom in the most unexpected places, and that even the smallest act of generosity can carry the weight of a lost dream, a whispered prayer, a silent promise to keep hope alive. The rumble of the motorcycles had faded, the dust had settled, and the sun had finally dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. But the quiet that descended upon Kiara's street was not the same as before. It was A quiet filled with a newfound energy, a sense of shared wonder, a feeling that something extraordinary had just happened. Word of the bikers' unexpected generosity spread like wildfire through the neighborhood. People who had initially watched the scene unfold with apprehension now emerged from their homes, their faces filled with curiosity and a touch of awe. They approached Kiara's lemonade stand, not just to buy lemonade, but to hear the story firsthand, to share in the magic of what had transpired. "I can't believe it," Mrs. Henderson said, shaking her head in amazement. "Those bikers, they looked so intimidating, but they were so kind." "It just goes to show," Mr. Johnson added, his eyes twinkling, "you can't judge a book by its cover, or a biker by his leather." The story was retold countless times that evening, each telling adding a new layer of embellishment and wonder. Kiara, initially shy and overwhelmed, found herself at the center of a spontaneous celebration, a neighborhood gathering fueled by lemonade, cookies brought by Mrs. Henderson, and a shared sense of joy and amazement. The next day, the story spread even further. Local news outlets picked it up, drawn by the heartwarming tale of a little girl's dream and the unexpected kindness of a group of strangers. "Bikers with hearts of gold help girl reach her zoo dream," one headline proclaimed. "Lemonade stand turns into symbol of community kindness," another declared. Kiara's lemonade stand became a local landmark, a destination. People from all over town, and even from neighboring communities, came to buy lemonade, to offer their support, to share in the positive energy that now seemed to radiate from the small, wobbly card table. Neighbors volunteered their time, helping. Kiara mixed lemonade, served customers, and managed the growing crowds. Children set up their own small stands nearby, selling cookies, brownies, and handmade crafts, donating a portion of their earnings to Kiara's zoo fund. The street, once quiet and reserved, had transformed into a vibrant hub of activity, a testament to the power of community and the ripple effect of a single act of kindness. Kiara's dream, initially a personal aspiration, had become something much larger. It had become a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in a world often filled with negativity and division, there is still goodness, still generosity, still the capacity for unexpected connections. Her lemonade stand, once a simple means to an end, had become a gathering place, a catalyst for community spirit, a testament to the enduring power of human kindness. And Kiara, the little girl who just wanted to go to the zoo, had become a local hero, an inspiration to everyone who believed in the power of dreams and the magic that can happen when people come together. The final tally from Kiara's lemonade stand was astonishing. Far exceeding her initial goal of $50, she had raised over $2,500, a testament to the generosity of her neighbors, the kindness of strangers, and the viral power of a heartwarming story. She could go to the zoo, buy all the souvenirs she wanted, and still have money left over. But as Kiara looked at the overflowing metal box, at the faces of the people who had supported her, at the vibrant community that had blossomed around her, little lemonade stand, she realized that her dream had grown. It was no longer just about seeing the lions and tigers and bears. It was about something bigger, something more meaningful. She remembered Doug, the biker with the sad eyes and the kind heart, and his story about his daughter's lost dream. She thought of all the other children in her community, children who might not have the opportunity to go on field trips, to experience the wonders of the world outside their neighborhood. She made a decision. She announced to her family, to her neighbors, to everyone who had supported her, that she would be donating a portion of her earnings to a local charity that provided educational opportunities for underprivileged children. "I want other kids to have the chance to go on field trips too," she declared, her voice filled with a newfound confidence and a sense of purpose that belied her young age. Her decision was met with applause and cheers. It was the perfect ending to a perfect story, a testament to Kiara's generous spirit and her understanding that true success is not just about achieving personal goals, but about sharing your good fortune with others. But the story didn't end there. The energy, the camaraderie, the sense of community that had blossomed around Kiara's lemonade stand was too powerful to simply fade away. The neighbors, inspired by Kiara's example, decided to keep the momentum going. They organized a monthly lemonade stand Saturday, transforming Kiara's initial endeavor into a recurring community event. Each month, a different family would host the lemonade stand, donating a portion of their earnings to a local charity or a worthy cause. The event became a celebration of community spirit, a chance for neighbors to connect, to share stories, and to work together to make a difference. Children learned about entrepreneurship, about the importance of giving back, about the power of collective action. Adults rediscovered the joy of simple pleasures, of neighborly conversations, of working together towards a common goal. The street, once quiet and unassuming, had become a vibrant hub of activity, a testament to the transformative power of kindness and community. Kiara's lemonade stand, a small wobbly card table with a brightly colored poster, had become a symbol of something much larger, a symbol of hope, of resilience, of the enduring human capacity for connection and compassion. It was a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness, like selling a cup of lemonade, can create ripples that spread far and wide, touching lives, transforming communities, and making the world a little bit brighter, one glass at a time. It was a powerful lesson, learned not in a classroom, but on a sunny sidewalk, under the shade of a maple tree, in the heart of a community that had rediscovered the true meaning of neighborly love. Here's a reflection on Kiara's lemonade stand story, tailored for an older audience and highlighting its key messages, written in American English, approximately 400 words. The simple story of Kiara's lemonade stand, unexpectedly transformed by the arrival of a group of bikers, offers a wealth of wisdom applicable to all ages, but particularly resonant for those of us who have witnessed the changing landscapes of community and human connection. It's a tale that reminds us of the enduring power of kindness, the importance of challenging our assumptions, and the profound impact that even small acts of generosity can have. One of the most potent messages is the danger of judging by appearances and the beauty of looking beyond the surface. The bikers, initially perceived as intimidating and potentially dangerous, revealed themselves to be compassionate and generous individuals. This underscores a timeless truth. We must resist the urge to make snap judgments based on stereotypes or superficial characteristics. As we age, we accumulate a vast reservoir of experience, and we have a responsibility to use that experience to foster understanding, not to reinforce prejudice. Every individual carries a unique story, and we owe it to ourselves and to them to approach each encounter with an open mind and a willingness to see beyond preconceived notions. The story also highlights the transformative power of community and the importance of human connection. Kiara's lemonade stand became a catalyst for bringing neighbors together, fostering a sense of shared purpose and reminding everyone of the strength that lies in unity. In our later years, social connections often become even more vital, providing support, companionship, and a sense of belonging. This story encourages us to actively nurture our relationships, to reach out to our neighbors, to participate in community activities, and to resist the isolation that can so easily creep into our lives. Furthermore, the narrative celebrates the enduring spirit of generosity and the ripple effect of kindness. The biker's unexpected donation, Doug's poignant connection with Kiara, and the community's subsequent embrace of the lemonade stand as a recurring event all demonstrate the profound impact that even small acts of generosity can have. It reminds us that we all have the capacity to make a difference, to brighten someone's day, to contribute to a more compassionate world. As elders, we often have more time and resources to devote to acts of service, and this story encourages us to embrace those opportunities, to share our gifts, and to leave behind a legacy of kindness. Finally, Kiara's story is a testament to the power of dreams and the importance of perseverance. Her initial goal to visit the zoo was a simple one, but it fueled her determination and inspired the generosity of others. This reminds us that dreams, no matter how big or small, are essential to a fulfilling life. They give us purpose, they motivate us, and they connect us to something larger than ourselves. It's a call to continue, even embrace the passions and dreams of our youth.